Greetings, friends. The prophet Isaiah said in Isaiah 2:4, "They shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore." And it seems as though here in the United States, and we're called the United States for a reason, because we are many nations coming together, peoples from all different nations, people of all different colors coming together to form this great nation called the United States of America. And, we've also been called the melting pot. And why are we called the melting pot? Well, when I think of the melting pot, I think of putting all these ingredients into a big pot to make a soup, let's say a chicken soup. And you put your chicken in there, you put your vegetables, your carrots, your celery, your onions, your garlic, and your water, of course, maybe some oil and different herbs. And that cooks slowly for 12 to 24 hours. And when it's done, you have a beautiful pot of chicken soup. You no longer have individual ingredients that you put into that soup. And you can say that's true of Americans. We came here from many different lands, from many different nations. And now we are no longer known by our previous heritage. We're known as Americans, the United States of America. And Jesus said, "Those who live by the sword shall die by the sword." And that's the way we've lived here in our human history, not just here in the United States, but as human beings, we've lived that way by the sword. And when Jesus was before Pilate, before he was crucified, he said to Pilate, "If my kingdom were of this world, then we would do it the way it's done in this world. But since my kingdom is not of this world, we don't do it the same way. We don't live by the sword." In Jesus' upside down, cruciform world known as the kingdom of heaven, there are no dirty Harrys, there are no vigilantes, there is no revenge or hatred, bigotry, envy. There's no looting. There's no civil unrest in the kingdom of heaven. That's not the way we do it in the kingdom of heaven. It's Jesus' upside down cruciform world. That's why it is cruciform. That's why it is upside down to this world. And so we've been called to live in that reality, the reality of the kingdom of heaven. That the kingdom of heaven is a present reality. It's not something we're waiting for. It's something that is present even now. So we're called to join Jesus in this heavenly realm reality. Jesus said in John 13:35, "By this all will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another." What was the love he was talking about? He was talking about this cruciform love, that we be known by this, that we don't do these things that are done in this world. We live contrary to this world. We are anarchists, so to speak, as Jesus was an anarchist, but he was a cruciform anarchist. And John goes on to write in John 15:13, "Greater love has no one than this, than a man lay down his life for his friends." So this is the cruciform love that Jesus spoke of. This is the cruciform love that sent Jesus to the cross. The love that he has lived forever and ever and ever with the Father and with the Spirit. And they've always lived this life of love. And Jesus then demonstrated that life of love when he went to the cross. And we went to the cross with him, and we died with him on the cross. And we were raised with him, and we're seated with him in the heavenly realm. In Jesus is men and women of every color. Are you black? Are you white? Are you red? Are you yellow? We're all in Jesus, and he is in us. That's why the Apostle Paul wrote to the Colossians 3:11, where there is neither Greek nor Jew, circumcised nor uncircumcised, barbarian, Scythian, bond nor free, but Christ is all and is in all. He goes on to say in Matthew 5, verses 38 and verses 44, you have heard it said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But I say, love your enemies. Pray for those who persecute you. Jesus is a cruciform anarchist, and we were living in anarchy, opposed to the law of love. But Jesus has destroyed all the barriers that are between us so that we can participate with him and become cruciform anarchists along with him. Jesus has the last word because Jesus is the last word. I love you all. Have a wonderful day.